Hey guys, we're going to be going over my sunglass collection today. So this is a sunglass case or a display case that I actually bought about 20 years ago, believe it or not. I'm in my early 30s and I bought this from a surf shop here in Florida back when I was 13. So I've had it for, like I said, 20 years and kind of got into sunglasses back then. Just living in Florida, you kind of have to have them. And over the years I've just amassed some pairs, sold some pairs off. But I thought it'd be fun to kind of go through my collection today, what I have, what I may be getting rid of, and then what I'm hoping to pick up here in the next couple weeks. I'm kind of revisiting sunglasses after having not bought a pair in a long time, because I want to kind of revamp my collection and you know, kind of see what else is out there, because I haven't really been shopping around. So let's start into it. This is a pair of Oakley Gascan sunglasses. I've had these for a long time. It's a matte black frame with, I think it's called a VR28 lens. It's got a light mirrored coating on it, and it's a reddish brown colored lens. So it's great for low light situations. These are my favorite sunglasses for driving. I do have a tinted windshield on my car as well as tinted windows, so I don't need a whole lot of light protection. I just need a little bit, and these are perfect, especially for rainy days or any kind of overcast day. You can kind of wear this in all sorts of conditions, so these are great. The next pair is a pair of Native Grinds. This is a lesser known brand, at least to me. I found out about them maybe 2 years ago or so. They have a unique rubber sweat guard here up at the top and a plastic red polarized lens. So I really like these for hiking. They were really affordable. I got them on eBay. I think they were 40 bucks. But they're a cool brand. If you've never heard of them, you may want to check them out. They're, at least from what I can tell, more sporty. Their lineup is, and this feature up here on the eyebrow region is fairly unique. So if you're a big sweater and don't like it running down into your eyes, you may try giving Natives a look. Next up are my Smith Chief sunglasses. It's again a plastic black frame with a gray polarized lens. What's unique about these Chief sunglasses is that they have the Chromapop technology in the lens. And what Chromapop does is helps more accurately filter the light that's coming into the lens. So it makes certain colors pop more than others, but it's supposed to give you a more natural look of what you're actually looking at. So these are my go-to glasses when I go hiking, or if I'm outdoors, like on the water, stuff like that. I just went on a vacation and did a lot of hiking, and this was actually the only pair of sunglasses I brought for hiking. So those are really cool. If you've never tried the Chromapop technology, you don't have to get it in this Chief model, but you can check out some of Smith's other glasses that have the Chromapop technology, and I would definitely recommend it. This is another pair of Smith's. This is called the Mastermind, and the frame color is Seaweed. A real kind of fun combination, you know, kind of green with little striations in it. Great for high, you know, bright days. This cuts down on a lot of light, and real nice. And they're not polarized, but they're a cool kind of fun option when you're just outdoors and just need a bunch of sun protection. Next pair is a little bit kind of a sleeper pair. If you've never heard of Oliver Peoples, this is a pair of Oliver Peoples sunglasses. They are called the Hollis. This was a limited edition pair I picked up. They've got blue polarized lenses. I have a couple pairs of Oliver Peoples and a couple pairs of Mosley Tribes. And Mosley Tribes is pretty much the same thing as Oliver Peoples, but whereas this pair and other Oliver Peoples are made in Japan, the Mosley Tribes are made in China. So the thought is that the quality isn't quite up there with the Oliver Peoples, but I haven't necessarily noticed that. They both seem pretty darn good, and they're cool. They're not as in your face. I mean, there's no branding here on the side. They're kind of under the radar, and you kind of have to know. You have to kind of be into shades to know kind of what they are. But those are fun. The next pair here is my Maui Gym Islandtimes. It's kind of like a tortoise, kind of brown frame with striations, very similar to that Smith that I just showed you that was the Seaweed color frame. The polarization on these is fantastic. It's a bronze lens with a light mirrored coating. These are awesome for boating. They don't block quite as much light as those Smith Chiefs that we discussed earlier, but they give a really cool contrast with that brown lens. And what's cool about these Maui Gyms too is that they have reverse hinges. So if you have a wide face or a little bit clumsy, they give you a little bit of leeway there with that reverse hinge. So those are cool. And it's a glass lens too. Most of my sunglasses are plastic. Those are glass. So, you know, if you're doing any sort of, not extreme, but sporting activities where you could risk breaking the lens, you probably don't want to go with a glass lens. But if optical clarity is number one and you're boating or something where you're probably not going to crack them, definitely give glass lenses a try. They're really, really cool. And they're not too heavy. This is a pair of Mosley tribes, like what we discussed earlier with the Oliver Peoples kind of similar brands. This is called the Dellroy. It's got a tortoise frame with kind of a photochromatic lens to it. So it's got a light mirrored coating. Again, these are great for low light days. So if you're driving and you don't need a whole lot of sun protection, just want something to kind of block those UV rays, these are great. I picked those up on eBay probably 4 to 5 years ago, and they were probably like, I think they were like 40 or 50 bucks. Very, very affordable. These are my Carrera 5007s. They're tortoise on the ear stems and then like a bass boat bronze mirrored stuff kind of going on the main part of the frame, and then a light brown lens. These are awesome. And I think as well as I think a lot of other people forget about Carrera or forget to look into Carrera. They've been around forever. They've got some cool kind of iconic shapes in their lineup, and they're really affordable. I got these brand new on eBay for 20 bucks with the box and the sock that comes with them, everything. So, you know, kind of give them a look if you're kind of looking for something new and don't want to spend a whole lot. I think Carrera's got a lot of cool stuff, and even I kind of forget about them. This is a cool pair. Now this, I didn't really know that much about Paul Smith, or that they even made sunglasses, but their sunglasses are super nice. This is a pair of Aviator style sunglasses from Paul Smith, and if you can see on the rim of the frame there, it's wrapped in a brown leather, and they're just super, super cool. They're not as extreme of a teardrop as a traditional Ray-Ban Aviator, so they don't, you know, if you have high cheekbones or something like that, they're not going to bug you. I don't know if these are still readily available. I did find them on eBay, and you know, haven't been able to find a pair since, but these are really cool. And maybe just to turn you on to Paul Smith as a whole, the build quality of those is, I think, right up there with the Oliver Peoples. Speaking of Oliver Peoples, this is the next pair. This is a pair of Oliver Peoples, and unfortunately the model number on these is rubbed off of the ear stems. I've had these for a long time. These are based on pretty much the same design as those Tom Ford frames that you would have seen in Quantum of Solace with James Bond. It's got the single bridge coming across here, very, very kind of, you know, distinctive to that movie. And I think they just had some overlap between Tom Ford and Oliver Peoples between these two frames. These are a very narrow fitting frame, and they don't have particularly large lenses, nor do they block a lot of light, but they just look really cool. So if you can get your hands, on a pair of these, definitely recommend it. Whether you go with the Tom Fords that were actually in the Quantum of Solace, or you go with the Oliver Peoples like I have here. I mean, I think those were like $100, but they're cool, and you don't really see, you know, a lot of other people with them. Quick sip of tea here. All right, moving on. This is a pair of Tom Fords. This is the pair from Skyfall. So they've got kind of that blue-gray lens to them. They're not overly done like a lot of Tom Fords with a huge gold T on the side. I mean, it's not super overly done. It's just got like a little raised T here. So subtly you can tell it's a Tom Ford, and then you can see the little script there on the upper left-hand part of the lens. So these are cool. Again, I like red and blue lenses on low light days. I think it's just cool. I think it gives a certain contrast that you just don't get from a light gray lens. So you'll see I have, you know, a couple pairs of red lenses, a couple pairs of blue lenses, and it's just, I think it's neat to kind of have that mixture. Okay, here is another pair of Mosley tribes. These are called the Pilot. Or no, excuse me, I'm got a little bit ahead of myself. This is the Santino with a gold frame and then brown polarized lenses. So this pair is kind of modeled after the Ray-Ban Caravan, kind of this more squared off style, double bridge, just like a regular Aviator, but they don't have that real deep teardrop. So they're kind of like those Robert De Niro glasses from Taxi Driver, just kind of a more, you know, modern interpretation of it with Mosley tribes. They've got the, you know, the Mosley tribes branded ear socks there. These are really cool, and I love the the quality of the polarized lenses are fantastic. Next up here is a pair of Smith Showdowns. These are kind of like their Serpico line, again, based on like a traditional Aviator model. They're hit my T-glass. Super flexible, polarized gray lens. I just like these. They're easy to wear, they're lightweight, and they're just, I'm not gonna really worry about them. Smith comes out with so many, this isn't a knock against Smith, but they come out with so many new styles all the time that you can typically find like the last style that they came out with or 2 styles ago for pretty affordable on eBay. And so they're a nice high quality, you know, a good value, I guess you could say, if you're looking at some Smiths on eBay, whether they're pre-owned or brand new. Now this was the pair I misspoke about earlier. This is the Mosley Tribe's Pilot in silver with blue polarized lenses. This is, I think this is their VFX lens, so this is their highest end polarized lens. Again, not a huge teardrop to the Aviator style. I'm a big fan of not the traditional like real droopy Aviator style. I like the little bit more rounded off style, so that's what these are. Silver frame, the same Mosley Tribe's ear sock there. Again, fantastic sunglasses. Those are also an eBay purchase, probably, I've had those now like 6 years. Now getting into my sport sunglasses. I've tried a ton of different sport sunglasses, from Rudy Project to Brico to all different kinds. Done a lot of cycling, raced bicycles, played a lot of tennis, still do both of those things. And really, I always keep coming back to Oakley products. What I like about them is the lack of metal on their designs. So I've tried some other brands that have, whether it's on the nose bridge, there's some metal, or on the hinge. And just with the amount that I'm sweating, they end up oxidizing after maybe even as short as a couple months. And so with these being fully plastic, there's really no opportunity for them to oxidize or break down. I love the interchangeability of the lenses. I love the colors, the ear socks, the nose guards. Everything's replaceable or changeable, and you can kind of just make them look or, you know, match whatever you're trying to do. And they're fantastic. I love them. And showing you how much I love them, I have a second pair. So that was an orange pair that you can buy fairly easily. This pair, I don't think you can find relatively easily. I found this on eBay maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and this was from a guy in Belgium who got these, so he said, from Fabien Cancellara. So he's my favorite cyclist. If you've never heard of him, he's a Swiss cyclist, and a couple years ago he was wearing these really crazy Oakley radars, and he would always have a new pair, and this was one of the pairs that he had. This was, I think, I don't know, I would call it the cheetah pattern, but he had some other ones too. And this guy in Belgium just had these listed on eBay, and I picked them up. So I'm not sure if Fabien Cancellara really wore them, or if he didn't wear them or whatever, but I know that, you know, this is very similar, if not exactly what he wore a couple times a couple years ago when he was wearing all those kind of crazy colors. So I love these. I don't wear them that much, but I'm definitely never going to part with them because they're just so unique. So those are cool. So moving forward here, I'm probably going to weed out a couple pairs. I'm not really sure, you know, I haven't finalized what I'm going to sell yet, but I'm probably going to get rid of these native grinds just because I do have the Gascans and I like the red lenses in those better than the lenses in those. But what I'd really like to add is a pair of Persol 714s. So that's like the Steve McQueen iconic Persol sunglass, but I want to get them in the yellow frame. It's kind of like a honey color to it, and they've got just a plain gray lens. I've always wanted a pair of Persols, and I've tried on probably 6 or 7 pairs. I've owned them in the past, and none of them have ever fit me right. And the 714s actually do. I've just never gotten around to getting a pair. So that's definitely on my list. I'd also like to try to track down a pair of the 55mm Ray-Ban Aviators. So the typical size that you'd probably try on is a 58, but the 55 is just a little bit smaller, a little bit more in line with some of my other sunglasses here, and they just fit me really well. I had a pair probably like 10 years ago, wore them all the time. They had a fairly hard to find lens combination. It was a gold mirror, and they have a lot of the newer kind of primary colors now, like reds, blues, but this one's a little bit harder to find, and then it's gold. So I'm going to put those on my kind of radar to try to find a pair of those and see if I can't snag them. So yeah, I'm going to try to work in some new stuff here, and as I get new sunglasses, I'll be reviewing those, and then maybe like in a couple months we'll kind of revisit the collection and see how it's changed. But just kind of hadn't thought about my sunglasses in a while, just been wearing them, and I thought it'd be fun to share this with you and kind of show you what I have and what I end up using them all for. So another thing I want to mention too is this case. It is weird. I know it's over the top. If you want to end up getting one for some reason, I'll give you some advice. It's probably going to be eBay would be your best bet to buy one of these. The secret is you want to type in sunglass display case. If you just type in sunglass case, you're going to find a bunch of these, just little individual sunglass cases. So if you type in sunglass display case, you may be able to find something like this. And I've looked before, and I think they were between maybe $40 to $50, depending on, you know, the brand or the condition or how many they can hold. And yeah, so, you know, good luck looking for one if you want one. I'm sure they're out there, and I'm sure you can track one down. So I've got a 20 slots here, and I've got 16 full. So hopefully I won't, you know, go all 20. Maybe I'll just try to stick it at 16 and sell one and buy one and one in, one out policy. So anyways, guys, this is my sunglass collection. Thanks for sticking around to watch the whole thing. And if you have any questions, just put them below. All right, we'll see you in the next video.